Hello again to everyone in Mr. Arnold's CLU3E Credit Recovery Alt Ed class. Today we are walking through a lesson about preventing violence and harassment in the workplace and in schools. So this is significant for two reasons. The first one being that you will eventually be in the workplace, and therefore you do need to know what your rights are in that workplace, but also that these same rules extend to, or same rules and laws extend to schools as well. Now, approximately 10 years ago, a nurse named Laurie Dupont was killed by a fellow co-worker at a hospital in Windsor. The video that you are going to watch today talks about the legacy of her death and the changes that came to workplaces after that. So, watch the video. It will explain to you how her death led to her co-workers and the Nurses Association in Ontario looking to change the laws of the workplace on workplace harassment and violence. You will also be seeing the policies that are involved in keeping schools and keeping the Upper Grand District School Board workplaces safe and free of harassment as well. That's Policy 503, which is Safe Schools, and Policy 408, which is Harassment in the Workplace. You will need to know these two forms, 503 and 408, are these two policies, for the quiz that we will be having at the end of the week, which will end our Human Rights Unit. You will also be looking at the Ontario Government's version of what's called a Safe Schools reporting form, and also the two forms that are available to A, teachers, and B, students. And specifically, you'll also be finding out how to get to the Safe Schools reporting form or the report bullying tool for this activity, and if you ever see bullying happen in a school. Good. So under this legislation, or these policies, there are two pieces of major legislation. One is the Education Act for Ontario, which outlines procedures around bullying. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this, which then brought me to a copy of the Education Act here. And what I have done is I have clicked Control and the letter F, that's Control and the letter F, and I have looked up the word behavior. But if you also look up the word bullying, you will see that bullying is also under behavior. And that is Part 13 of the Education Act. Right here, under Behavior, Discipline, and Safety. So you can see that we have Bullying Awareness and Prevention Week. We have information about activities leading to possible suspension. And within these, you can find the different activities as far as violence and harassment that could lead to suspension. One of those is bullying or harassment, and specifically bullying people due to the sex that they identify or gender that they identify as, and also a number of different activities that could lead to being suspended or expelled for harassment. So we have the Education Act and Section 13. So XII being Section 13. When you click on that part of the Act on the link, it leads you to the section itself. There we go. And if we go back, you can see that any of these links you can click on and they go live to a link And if you want to jump right to activities that could lead to possible suspension, you can click right here on section 306. Good. Next, if you open up the Occupational Health and Safety Act, and then you type in either the words violence or harassment, it goes to part 3.0.1. And the same thing applies for this act under E-Laws Ontario, is that if you click on one of the links, it will lead you directly to where you need to go. So for instance, let's click on Duties re Violence. And that should jump right up to there. So you can see here that the duties of the employer, at least one of them, is to provide information and instruction that is appropriate for the worker on the contents of the violence and harassment policy. And you can see here that as of 2009, there has been something added to the law here. That is called a revised statute, a revised law. If you'd like, you can continue to explore those two pieces of legislation, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to close these out and keep my desktop nice and clean. Good. Now, if you click on the Ontario Government Safe Schools Reporting Form, I'm going to right-click and open it in a new tab. You will find that the Ontario government has its own form for reporting incidents at schools. If you go down to the main office, you would be able to obtain a form that looks somewhat like this. So your step, if you ever want to report an incident at school, is you would go down to the main office if you wanted to do this in person, and you would pick one of these Safe Schools reporting forms or something similar to what they have down in the office. That's a Safe Schools incident reporting form. What I would like you to do is your last activity for this lesson today is you can print this off. So if you go to Control and the letter P, it opens up in a new window. And again, make sure that you pick the printer for room 2051. If you don't, you click on Change and you type in 2051. You select the printer from our room. Make sure that it is two-sided, and you would click Print. And you would be using any of the following activities here. You would be making up an incident. So please do not use real names. But you will be picking the type of incident. You'll be putting down who submitted it, and that, of course, would be you. And you would like that an investigation is completed and that the principal would be communicating that. Principal's name is Chad Warren. Alright. The last piece of work that you need to do today is you need to look at first what the Safe Schools reporting form online looks like for teachers. So as you can see here, it's opened in preview mode. This is the form that teachers are expected to fill out if they feel there is a violent incident or harassment happening against them, if they feel unsafe. And next, your report bullying form here. And you find that report bullying form online by simply going to the UG Cloud landing page. And on your UG Cloud landing page, you will find the report bullying form. So I've now opened up a link that shows what your homepage looks like, and report bullying is in the bottom left-hand corner of your student landing page for UG Cloud. Good. So the only work I am expecting you to submit for this activity is this, your Ontario Government Safe Schools reporting form. Again, if you have any questions for me, please come on over and see me. And as a class and as a school, with this knowledge, we can help better stay safe and keep our school free from violence and harassment.